Hey guys, welcome back to the Sunday Livestream. If I seem a little out of it, I've been fighting a migraine for the last day. Excuse me, it's not that bad right now, but it's sort of threatening to come back. Yeah, there's just a little twinge right now, so I hope it goes away soon. But I would just like to welcome everybody back. The reason for the title, I will be telling you shortly. And don't worry, it's not going to be the last live stream on this channel, just quite possibly the last one on Sunday, especially at this time, because my state is opening back up, and assuming I can still do the social distancing thing and possibly wear a mask, I may just be going back to church next week. I'm going to see what happens over this next week. They've been open for 2 weeks now, and I'm just going to see what happens. So far, the curve in my state in Utah is definitely dropping. But like I said, since the typical incubation period for this nastiness is about 2 weeks, that's about how long I'm going to give it from the time it starts opening up again. Gatherings are still limited to about 20, 25 people. And obviously I will be wearing a mask whenever I do go back to church, but I'll admit it, the loneliness is getting to me. So if you'll pardon me, I will be eating a little bit during this live stream. I've got an avocado sandwich. I went food shopping yesterday, which was amazing. So I can finally get the food that I need. And since I have not been feeling the best, this has not been respiratory related, this has been other systems like my head and digestive system. I'm trying to stay bland food for now, like mainly rice, and I'm trying to stay away from bananas because with the way my body has been reacting, I may have developed an allergy to bananas, and that may have been from the antibiotics I was on last year. So we will see what we will see, but looks like we got 6 people watching. 2 thumbs up already. Hello to the Datalorian, by the way. That is one of the best usernames ever. That is so cool. Hello to John Cordisco. Welcome back. And Darren Staley. I'm sorry I didn't schedule this one, but this last week has been just like, I've been running around like a headless chicken, if you'll pardon the gruesome reference. But yeah, it's been a little bit crazy this week. I haven't even gotten out of my pajamas today, so I'm just wearing this hoodie over the top of it. Oh my goodness, Jurassic Guard, an allergy to honey and a whole bunch of plants? Oh, that makes me sad. It really makes me sad if I wind up with an allergy to bananas, because bananas have been one of my absolute favorite cheap fruits. And they're like a staple in vegan cooking for a substitute for eggs. Well, I can eat eggs for now, but I've heard that when you get on antibiotics for a long period of time, that can kill off the good bacteria in your stomach, and you can develop new food allergies. So, okay, question from the Datalorian. Are you vegan or vegetarian? I am what I like to call gluten-freegan. I would say between 50 and 70% plant-based. I have not had any meat, including poultry or fish, for well over a year now, since last January. I have been cheating, if you will. There have been gelatin coatings on pills that I've had. I have eaten a couple of marshmallows since then. But other than that, I have not had any products derived from, pardon me, dead animals. But I have been flip-flopping as to whether or not I go dairy-free and or egg-free. I have more recently tried to go dairy-free. It's really hard though, because confession time, I have a serious weakness for nacho cheese sauce and Cheetos. I like that fake cheese flavor, and I'm really trying to get away from it. So yes, I have been trying to cut out milk products, because actually when I was a baby, I was allergic to cow's milk and was on goat's milk for a while, and that seemed to help. For most of my life, it's been no problems, no problems. And then for the last like 5 or 6 years, I've strongly suspected I'm lactose intolerant. And I have noticed that when I eat dairy products, my skin breaks out a lot more, and my hormones are out of whack. So staying off of them has definitely helped with my skin and my overall health. So I'm trying to stay away from dairy products as much as I possibly can. I'm using dairy substitutes, but I'm still eating eggs, especially eggs that were raised in someone's backyard, raised by chickens in backyards. Because I've noticed those eggs tend to be a lot better than the eggs you get from the store, because better eggs come from healthy chickens. If at all possible, I'd like to raise my own chickens, but I don't know how soon that's going to happen. So anyway, I hope that answers you. I think it would be fine. John Cordisco, I'm allergic to people. That is priceless. I love that. Respiratory problems, it might be milk. Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from milk. Yes, Dadalorian. The plant root can help. It can help a lot. It will definitely flush your body. So, yeah. So, and hello to, we will try my best to pronounce that. I believe that is an Italian name. Guilherme Bianchi. Now, the last name I know how to pronounce because I actually had an Italian racing bike at one point that the brand was Bianchi. It was actually on loan to me. So, the first name, Guilherme Bianchi. I hope I pronounced that right. That's the best I can do. Plants vs. Zombies. My nephew's really into that game. I love that. I watched several documentaries about Mr. Rogers, and I love the quote. Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers fame said, "I couldn't eat something that could." Well, I think what he said was, instead of "could be something's mother," or "I couldn't eat anything that had a mother." So, I agree with that. It's mostly. I went vegetarian/vegan, and since I have to be gluten-free, it's non-negotiable. But mainly for health reasons, but also because I love animals and I do not like the commercial meat industry. If animals were raised in cleaner and more humane conditions, I would probably go back to eating chicken, because that's one of the few things I can digest with no problems at all. But until the industry changes, I'm going to stay vegetarian. And also, it's better all around for my health, I've noticed, if I stay vegetarian. Okay, good joke. Okay, joke from Darren Staley. I have a joke for you. What grocery store does a droid shop? I have no idea. Costco. Little bit of off topic. Hydro Sports, a little bit off topic, but have you heard of an old computer game called Empire at War? Yes, I remember that, but I'm not really into those games. I am into mostly flight simulator games, like the X-Wing game and even though it was really hard to fly, I like flying a lot more. So, pardon me, another bite of my avocado sandwich. This is just a bear. Okay, the answer to that joke. In what grocery store does a droid shop at? Price Chopper. Cute. Very cute. So pardon me while I take another bite of my avocado sandwich. This is just plain gluten-free bread and avocado. Okay, Logan Scott, hello. What's the difference with gluten and non-gluten? Okay. Very, very basic terms, and I am not a botanist or a scientist, so I will put this in as simple terms as I can. Gluten is a protein that is found in wheat, barley, rye, and I think a couple of other grains, because they're all related. And in the stomach of somebody who cannot tolerate gluten, their immune system attacks it or it rejects it outright. Like in the digestive system in a person with celiac disease, it affects the cilia, which is the lining of the small intestine. Gluten, basically, it attacks something happens in the intestines of a celiac, where gluten literally attacks the cilia of a small intestine, and it wears away at them until they no longer work. And that's important, because the cilia are what break down the food particles to be digested, so you can get nutrients. So if a person with celiac keeps eating gluten despite the horrible stomach cramps and all the other nasty symptoms, eventually it can get bad enough where they can no longer digest food. So I have not been tested as celiac. The only test I have had is an allergy test for milk, soy, and wheat. I am not allergic to any of them, but there is still a chance I could be either gluten intolerant or celiac. And since the The tests for celiac, I believe they were very invasive and extremely expensive. They require like a biopsy to actually look at a piece of the small intestine. It's kind of gross. I have not been able to get tested for it. I do not know. I am totally unaware as to whether or not my bare bones, state sponsored, health insurance will pay for it or not. So in the meantime, it's just safer for me to avoid gluten like the plague. All I know is whenever I eat anything with gluten or anything that has touched something with gluten, like if there's a crouton in my salad and I eat that, it feels like there's a tumbleweed in my middle. So I hope that answers your question as to what's the difference between gluten and gluten-free. Anyway, okay. Jurassic Guard, what do you think of Star Wars Battlefront games, including the games from 2002 and 2004? I don't have much of an opinion on them. I do like the story of the new one. I think it's really neat because it includes Luke. Okay. How many Imperial engineers does it take to screw a light bulb? I have no idea. How many engineers does it take to screw in a light bulb? That question has me stumped. If chewing sounds bother you, let me know. I don't want to disturb anybody. We were going for exactly 11:38. Oh well, the moment passed. All right. So answering the question, how many Imperial engineers does it take to screw in a light bulb? 2. 1 to do the job and 1 to take the credit. Also, that reminds me of something I heard. True fact. Did you know that a large group of baboons is called a congress? I found that out and I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Although it might be insulting to the baboons to relate them to Congress. Hello, Crimson Minotaur. Yeah, the Sunday live streams. The reason for that, it's because the reason I started doing these Sunday live streams was so I could talk to everybody and basically help my own loneliness. Because apart from this, I get to chat with my fiance 3 times a week. And it's just, I need people to talk to, you know what I mean? And it's always a lot of fun connecting with my audience. But last week, my church reopened. Now, this is very limited capacity. They're having 2 services a day instead of 1. We're a very small congregation. And we need to tell the pastor ahead of time who's coming so that way they can set up chairs at an appropriately distanced area. And there won't be, greeting or like passing the offering thing around. But it's so we can still be in the same building to have church together. And I think it's limited at this point to like 20 to 25 people per service. So I was asked about that, asked if I wanted to come back last Saturday. But the thing is, since my parents do not go to that church and I do not have my own transportation and the church is in another city about 26 miles away, I can't get there by myself. There is a church bus, but the thing is, the church bus, the seats are all smushed next to each other. There's no wiggle room. And when there's other people in the van, unless it's just one other person, it's impossible to socially distance in the van. Now, granted, our county has not been hit that hard by that which shall not be named, or I will be possibly demonetized. YouTube's gotten pretty strict about that. I'm not a doctor. I have no bearing in that whatsoever. But it's because the van is so crowded, I'm just going to take a wait and see approach. So far at this point, Utah's incidence is definitely dropping more so than other states. And I've looked this up on several different sources, both major news and CDC websites and all that reliable, at least the more reliable stuff. It says the numbers for Utah are definitely dropping. The one thing that shall not be named, yeah, I think everybody knows what it is. It's everything that's got a Darth Vader chokehold on the world right now. Anyway, it's a Voldemort. No, wait a minute. Wrong universe, wrong universe. What was I saying? I'm trying to remember. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Reopening church. If the numbers look good by Saturday, yeah, if the numbers in our county specifically look good by Saturday and there have been no new cases since reopening, then I will risk it and go back to church. But I am going to be wearing a mask. Mom made this for me. No, I don't have a Star Wars mask, sadly. And since this is cloth, after I get home, I can just go ahead and throw this in the washing machine. So, anyway, those are my thoughts on it. That's why I said we my brain isn't working. It was the migraine yesterday. It's threatening to come back, but I'm trying to push it away. I've been having too much caffeine lately and now I'm getting withdrawals, but I can't have it when my digestive system is still getting back into shape. So I completely lost my train of thought, but that's okay. All right. Interesting. Jurassic Guard in Russia. You're from Russia. Sweet. We have a grocery store chain called Magnet. There's a poster where it says they've had 4 billion customers. Are they in America too, or are they just counting the same customers? I think they're counting the same customers because I've literally never heard of that grocery store chain. It might be in other parts. It might be in other parts. It might be in other countries near Russia, and I do not know what that part of the world is called. I'm so sorry. North, I have no idea. Question from Hydro Sports. Have you read a book about the Blackwing virus in Star Wars? It is a great book. It is called Death Troopers for those who are interested. I've heard of that, and it's something, from what I've heard, it's something like a zombie thing. And I'm like, no undead anything. The undead Night Sisters in Clone Wars freaked me out enough. I hate gore and I hate anything that deals. I'm enough of a germaphobe already, so I don't want to read anything about any virus. Like, yeah, no, unclean. But no, I haven't read that. Oof. Oh man. Russia, Northern Europe / Asia. Yeah, I know the region, but I just didn't know what it was. Like I said, the migraine has affected my brain function, and I am not as coherent as I would normally be. Han Solo and Chewie. Okay, then I'll skip to the Han Solo and Chewie parts. That's what I used to do with the Star Wars book, where they would jump back and forth from the villains to Luke. I would always skip to the parts with Luke. I wouldn't care about the villains at all until they met up with Luke and he got rid of them. I'm that much of a Luke fangirl. I picked up a book. Does it have Luke in it? Yep, I'm going to borrow this one from the library. Interesting but intense. Oh no, then I'm not going to mention the spoiler, so anybody that watches this video will not get spoiled. Oof. Ow. Yeah, don't do anything. Don't do anything to Chewie. Chewie is untouchable. All right. 8 thumbs up, 7 people watching. 9 people watching. Yay. All right. So I guess now's the time for questions. Does anybody have any questions for me, either about Star Wars or Lord of the Rings? Oh, yeah. If anybody wants to know about the vlogs coming up, hi to Jast, Jast. I'm just going to spell it out because I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Hello. Welcome back. This next week, I'm going to be focusing mainly on the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, because as of the 21st, it will be exactly 40 years since the release of Empire Strikes Back. And tomorrow, if my head is feeling okay, I'm going to be tackling something I haven't done in a couple years. You may remember, I think it was back in 2018, that I filmed myself reciting every single line from A New Hope from memory. I'm going to try and do that again with The Empire Strikes Back. I wish I had some props like masks and things like that, but this is basically going to be Instead of the one-man Star Wars show, this is going to be the one-woman Star Wars show. And I'm going to try and recite everything from Empire verbatim. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun because Empire is one of my favorites. It's my favorite as a filmmaker, but Return of the Jedi is my favorite as a fan, if that makes any sense. Yes, watch Empire Strikes Back on the 40th anniversary. I'm definitely planning on doing that. But since I don't like watching things out of order and I haven't yet watched New Hope this session, if you will, because I've already watched 2, 3, and then Rogue One, I'll probably I might watch episode 4 tonight. Although I am planning on watching episode 4 on the 25th of this month because that's Star Wars birthday. You know what? Maybe I'll just put off watching Empire Strikes Back until after I rewatch episode 4. Yeah, that makes more sense. And then Return of the Jedi sometime at the end of the month. And then I'll watch Star Wars again until next year. Hello, Solo, then Rogue One. I don't like Solo, and it's not on Disney Plus yet, and I don't have a copy of it, and I don't want to buy it, so problem solved. All right, but hello to Jessadia. Good to see you again, buddy. Oof, and I need to finish my sandwich. Just full of green stuff. Carnivores need not apply. I love avocado, though. Side note, when I was growing up in Southern California, ever since I was tiny, and even though I lived in the desert way far away from any avocado fields or orchard fields, anyway, avocado was a big thing. Super, super, super big. And I grew up on it, and I love a good avocado. A really good, buttery, creamy avocado. Especially in guacamole. Even mashed up with a little bit of lime juice and salt. Ugh. But I had to keep this mild because yeah. So anytime I find avocados on sale, I'm like, mine! The one part of being raised in Southern California I will never let go of is my love for avocados. Mmm. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Questions? Queries? Thoughts? A thought? Anyone? I can't do Yoda's voice right now. Anyway. Hello to General Grievous. You're shorter than I expected. I'm sorry. That was bad. I'm sorry. Oh, Poppin' Jedi. Hello. Darren's asking, were you originally born in California? Yes. As a matter of fact, since I don't even live near there anymore, I think it's safe to state I was born in a city called Whittier, California. It was nice when my parents lived there in the early 80s, but they moved from when their rent got raised, I think $200 in 1 month in the 80s. We moved to the high desert, Victorville, that sort of area. And it didn't take long after they moved there. The airbase closed and it went. So yeah, I grew up in Southern California, lived there almost my whole life. We just moved here in 2017, so it's going to be 3 years this August that we've lived in Utah. And I have to say, this state is far superior to California in every single way, with the sole exception it doesn't have Knott's Berry Farm. That is the only thing in Southern California that I miss it so much. Some days I just crave boysenberry punch. Oh, I miss Knott's Berry Farm. Because even in the later years, it still had off days. And you could walk around and it was a literal ghost town, and go on every ride was a walk-on. And it was, I miss Knott's. If I ever visit Southern California again, I'm going straight there. Forget Disneyland. I don't care about Disneyland. I've been there. We can go to Knott's Berry Farm instead. Oh, my goodness. We got new people popping in. Jeff, my bear. Yes, that's his nickname. Deal with it. And hello to Tony Paget. I cannot pronounce that. Hello to Tony. Okay. Take an interest in the strategies. Interesting. Hello to Richard Long, Busch Gardens. Interesting. You mentioned we're talking about theme parks. I have been to all but one of the major theme parks in Southern California. Oh, Jeff would be cool with going to Knott's. Oh, we go in the off season. You would love it. There's practically nobody there. And it's like half the price of Disneyland. I am not even kidding. It is wonderful. And the people there are so, so nice. And they've still got that family friendly atmosphere. It's wonderful. Jeff, I'm serious. You would love Knott's Berry Farm. And I would love to show you all my favorite things there. These are a few of my favorite things. Nope. Yay! We were talking about theme parks. The only one I never went to in Southern California and actually had no inclination to go to was Universal Studios because honestly, when I was living there, they didn't have anything there. I mean, hardly any rides, and who cares about walking around a studio? I literally didn't care about Universal Studios at all. I didn't even like most of their movies. Since they took out, especially since there was that fire there and the clock tower scene, Courthouse Square was no longer around. From Back to the Future, I lost any interest in ever visiting Universal Studios. So, a photo of your aunt and you and a big turtle. Oh, and that reminds me of when my family and I went to San Diego Wild Animal Park in 2004. That was fun. It was a heck of a long drive, but oh man, it was amazing. I loved it. I especially love seeing all those animals in a huge wide open space. I'm like, yes, this is not a cagey zoo. This is way big open habitat. And they were breeding animals to put back in the wild like condors. So yay. That's the kind of wild animal park I like. I like wild animal parks. Some small zoos if they're well run. Oh, and I've got visitors. Hello. Probably telling me, be quiet. Yes. Okay. I'm live streaming for my channel. What? I'm live streaming for my channel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not getting ready to go for live. Yeah. Don't get some reservoir. Anyway. Okay. So, and we're taking reservoirs. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. See you later. Later. I'll just sit here and vlog and eat my yum sandwich. Oh, okay. All right. Oh my goodness, Nintendo Lands. That would be cool. That would be a reason for me to visit Universal. And even though I wouldn't call myself a Harry Potter fan since I only read the first 1.5 books. Some of the references are neat, and it was fun to see the movies at least once each. So it might be fun to go to there. Plus, if they could come up with a dairy-free butterbeer, I tasted butterbeer once. They made a recreation of it at a convention a while back. Oh my gosh, it was basically pure sugar and caramel and butterscotch, and it was insane. I need to figure out a way to make that a healthier version because it was good. It was really good. Watching Rebels and General Price looked a lot like Agent Spalko from Indiana. That's exactly right. People are saying if they were ever going to do a live action General Price, it should totally be Kate Blanchett because they look exactly alike. They look like the Russian lady with the accent, Kate Blanchett. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That character from Rebels looks exactly like Kate Blanchett, which is incredible. Hello to OMG, it's GB. Hello. I don't know if I'm having a quite wonderful day, but I'm having a pretty good day. Well done. I pronounced your surname. Yeah. I got hair in my mouth. Thanks, dogs. I pronounced your name right. Yay! That makes me so happy, Tony. Okay, GB. That's fine. That'll work. If I can remember to say that, then yeah. Interesting. Let's make it a wonderful day. Aww. One of them just said, let's make it a wonderful day for those of you watching afterwards. Aww. Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs. Oh, wow. Richard lived in Spring Valley near San Diego till you were in 3rd grade. Also have photos at Universal. Wow, that's so cool. The other place that we visited, let's see, I'm trying to keep track of everything we visited. Mostly on school trips. But we have been to Disneyland several times. The last time I went was back in 2012. Where else? Of course, Knott's Berry Farm. Six Flags once. I only got to ride a few rides because we went with a youth group and my brother and I were stuck babysitting a 10-year-old for the whole time. And he didn't want to go on any of the good, big, scary ones. So I think we rode a total of like 3 roller coasters and then the log ride about 15 times, and we got drenched in November. That's a story in itself. I'm going to need to post pictures of that sometime. But where else have we been? Disneyland, Knott's, Six Flags. Oh, yes, SeaWorld. We went there for a school field trip. And that was fun. I have to say Wild Arctic was one of the best simulators I've been on. The last live stream, no. Oh, Shan. That's why I put a question mark at the end. I'm not sure if this is going to be the last live stream or not. Just to explain again, for those of you who are just joining us, the reason for the title is that my church has opened up again since the state of Utah is starting to ease some of the restrictions. Oh, you're heading out to the lake soon with the tacos. Tacos, tacos, tacos. I miss tacos. I would love to make some tacos right now, but my inners won't let me. Because since I'm a vegetarian, I have a lot of beans. Let's just say too many beans. And we're not going to get into that. But what was I saying? Yeah, church is opening back up. And it's limited. No more than 20 people at a time are allowed in. And you have to call ahead of time to make sure they know, okay, which service are you going to? Because there's one and another one. And whenever I do choose to go back, I will definitely be wearing a mask because I'm a germaphobe. And also may have asthma, have not been able to get tested for it. So I'm waiting. We just opened up last week. So far, so good. We haven't seen any spikes yet. The numbers are staying pretty flat. So I'm really, really hoping. Because at this time of day, I'm usually in church or heading home from church. My church service usually runs from about 10:30 in the morning to about noon. No, 11:30, and then it's at least noon or 1 o'clock before I get home because it's 26 miles away. My parents do not go to that church, so I get a ride on a church van. Unfortunately, in that van, the seats are all smushed together, and since I wouldn't be the only one in the van, there's no way to socially distance when you're smashed together in a van. So since I'm paranoid, I'm waiting to see if things are okay by Saturday, then I'm going to be going back to church next week. That is not to say that the live streams will be ending completely. So I will be making an announcement when I am sure about whenever the next live stream is going to be, but it's not going to be once a week anymore. After I'm going back to church, it will probably drop back to just once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks. Maybe I'll slowly start phasing out the regular ones. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a poll on the channel or on Twitter or whatever. But yeah, they're not going to be as often and not at the same time anymore. So I hope that, I don't want to quit live streams either because everybody's just virtual hugs. I've got the best subscribers in the world. I hope that answers your question, Shan. All right. Oh, Hydro Sports, love the background. Yay. This is great. I'm trying to build on it. I'm finding like vintage posters and pieces of magazines that I can cut out and paste up there. By the end of the year, at least by the time I move out and get married, I'm hoping to have this entire thing just filled. So it's just one big giant Star Wars collage. All right. Oh, you eat tacos every day. Tacos are pretty one of my go-tos, especially with the corn tortillas. Yummy. Okay. OMG, it's okay. GB, where are you located again? I am in eastern Utah. I'm not at liberty to discuss the exact location, but suffice it to say, I'm about 100 miles away from Arches National Park. And I've been to Arches once. I love it. It's beautiful. Never go in the tourist season. It's a zoo. But at any rate, have fun at church. Thank you. Keep the live stream. Make them random to fit into your schedule. You like, I want to keep the live. I'm not going to stop them completely. I'm just going to sort of cut them off and not have them at the same time every day, every week. Ugh. Well, Jeff just started getting tourists again yesterday. I'm praying for you. Okay. Richard Long is asking, do films like Outbreak or Contagion leave you thinking of religion more? That is an interesting question. Okay, the short story is I was raised Christian. I consider myself a Christian. I try to go to church as often as I possibly can, barring illness or national emergency. So this is highly irregular for me. Usually I go to church every week and then hold the live stream after church. So no, the movies did not leave me thinking of religion more. I do not see myself as religious. I get a little bit ticked off when people call me religious because religion seems more about ritual and rote instead of, how am I going to put this? Religion is more about rote and repetition than it is about a relationship and grace. I am not a theologian. I am not good at explaining this sort of thing, but hopefully that clears things up a little bit. I hope that answers your question, Richard Long. In the boondocks, exactly, Richard. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the boondocks. All right, heading out. Yes, stay safe to you, Shan. Virtual hugs. GB, New York City. Yeah, it is pretty bad. I am so... the news coming out of New York City just breaks my heart because even though I have never visited there, it's just like, you guys have been through too much. It's just no more. You guys need a break. It's very, very heartbreaking. And for what it's worth, I'm praying for you and thinking good thoughts for you. All right. Outer Rim. No, Richard, I used to live in what I considered the Outer Rim. This is more mid-rim agrarian type because we have a lot of farms around here. Okay, language warning for GB. It's okay. I agree with the sentiment, although not the exact word. Crudely but accurately put, the poodoo pretty much hit the fan. Ooh, that's awful. Ugh. Virtual hugs to GB. Excuse me. Excuse me. Allergies. I must have inhaled like a bunch of dust. I sold my bicycle a couple days ago and it was so dusty when I dragged it out of the tool shed, so I had to dust it off, and I think I inhaled like a full half cup of pure dust, and I'm still trying to get it out of my system. But okay, Richard Long, Outer Rim. I consider where I used to live either Tatooine or Jakku. The cities are more like Mos Eisley in that it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy in the middle of the desert, and the more outlying areas are more like Jakku, pretty much a rural junkyard. So dressing up as Ray meant a lot to me because, wow, I am a scavenger. Jakku? That junkyard? Thank you, junkyard. I can relate to the people that live on desert planets like Tatooine. Too hot. Wait, Jakkuine. I need to write that down, Darren. That is priceless. Jakkuine. Yeah. Where were you born? Oh, Jakkuine. That is great. I love that. That is so fun. Jakkuine. I need to finish the sandwich before the avocado goes brown. All right. Agreed, GB. I mean, Yeah, that is pretty much nowhere. You're right. Where are you from? Nowhere. You should have seen where I last lived. Some of my older videos. I showed some of the wide open landscape in my hiking. It was basically nowhere with a bunch of rock piles and a dry lake bed. I think the general area where we lived, we had about 10 people in 1 square mile. Or at least 10 houses in 1 square mile. And my dog just went downstairs. I don't trust her. She might be getting into the trash. She's a little thief. So I'll be back after I check on my dog, make sure she's not getting into any trouble because she's a brat. But I'll be back. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. Oh my goodness, GB. So city life for you. All right, checking back in. Oh. Oh my gosh. Wi-Fi's getting out of communications disruption can mean only one thing, invasion. Well, long story short, I went down to check on my dog. I found her in the office with her head fully in a bag of corn chips. She literally, it was fine. Luckily, she still had plenty of oxygen, and she's. My dog is insane. The bag was already empty, but she was trying to lick the rest of the salt out of it. I saw her, caught her. I'm like, "What are you?" She backed out. Hi, Mom. Wags her tail. Oh my gosh, my dog is a maniac. So yeah, I had to put that back in the trash and then move the trash can to the laundry room and lock the door. So yeah, that's what was going on downstairs. I heard her rustling and my dog was wreaking havoc. Oh my god, I was worried about her yesterday because she slept literally all day. I guess she was just resting up for more mischief. She's 12. So I worry about her, but yeah, she's doing fine today. I know if she's being a pain, she's in good shape. But yes, yeah. Richard Long, yes. Yes, she's 12. She just turned 12 in April, and she's doing pretty good for her age. She's survived 2 tumor surgeries, an attack by a very large, very aggressive dog, actually 2 attacks by large aggressive dogs, and she also saved me from freezing to death. This little dog and I have been through a lot together. My dog is a scavenger too. We cannot trust her around anything that even smells edible. As a matter of fact, I need to move my sandwich further in so she doesn't steal that too. When I'm eating, she will stick her nose under my arm. All I see is this little black nose going edging up toward my plate. She is hilarious. Oh my goodness, GB, you had a dog that lived to 18. That is amazing. Wow. I've had friends with beagles who have lived to 16 or 17. So I know for a fact the breeder told me the average for beagles, just household pets, is between 12 and 15 years old. So she's right in that range. Oh no, GB, that poor doggy. Oh my goodness. Poor thing. I know for a fact my dog's vision is not what it once was because a couple times when I've gone out for a walk and she's been in the yard, I've come back. She's barked at me. She has barked at me unless I am either upwind from her and she can smell me, or if I'm right in front of her and she can sniff me. She was so apologetic too, the poor thing. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I've heard this joke before. All right, Hydro Sports is asking what program do Jedi use to open PDFs? I have heard this one before. Adobe One Kenobi. I don't need to drink straight out of that. I can just get a cup. Yeah, it's Adobe One Kenobi. That's what Jedi used to open PDFs. But yeah, like I was saying, my dog's vision is definitely not what it was. She's got cataracts, bless her heart. The vet diagnosed it. So far, it's not bad. And since she's a scent hound, she relies so much on her nose that apart from not recognizing people and sometimes getting just a little bit lost if we rearrange furniture, she does amazingly well. And also it helps that she hangs out with our big dog, whose eyesight is incredible. He is a shepherd mix. His eyesight is probably like 10 times better than hers. Oh my goodness. Tony's asking, is Yoda holding a lightsaber or a cross behind you? All right. Where are you? You are right over here. There he is. Okay, that's actually just a trick of the light. There's his lightsaber. And the thing at the top is not Count Dooku's lightsaber. It is a splash of light behind him, but you have to be right next to it to see. Oh my goodness. You're planning on getting a cactus after the pandemic? That's cool. Just don't get too close and please use gloves. My mom had ornamental cactus when we lived in the desert. They had amazingly beautiful blooms in the spring. Oh my gosh. They were literally like this big and deep enough for about 5 bumblebees to climb inside at once. But I never ever touch them because I live in fear of those spines. So please be careful with those spines. I've been poked by those before. Not fun. Hello to Cintage88. Yay! Welcome back. It's nice to see so many familiar names. I won't say faces, but names. Jedi Guy 101. That'd be cool. Just make sure it's not taken yet. Fun story, speaking of not being taken yet. My fiance and I are talking about starting some sort of a geeky cooking channel, but all the geeky cooking channel names are like taken. Oh, if you feel gross, then please shower. Please, please, please. I mean, none of us know how badly you need to shower, but if you need to, please go. Don't feel bad about leaving. Just go. Take care of yourself. Oop, there we go. Ouch. Yeah, we're stuck on ideas for cooking show titles. Anything we can come up, it's all right. Don't worry, we're not going to be. It just depends on how quickly you shower. I'm planning on quitting in about. I think the longest I'll go is an hour and a half. You can shower that quick, right? Oh, okay. Don't worry about Hydro Sports. Good stuff. All right, sweet. 11 people watching, 11 thumbs up. All right, we did this during another live stream, but I would love to see if we could get a thing going where there's 11 people watching and 38 likes. If we could do that, that would be so much fun. I would screen capture it and probably post it on Instagram because that 12 likes, all right. That would be so much dang fun. Oh, 1138. Because 1138 is a number that's been around, like, it's a George Lucas thing. In case you guys don't know, his very first cinematically released film was THX 1138, Dystopian Society. At 12 people watching. Dang it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And he's since used the number 1138 in almost every single one of his films, somewhere. For example, in New Hope, it was cell block 1138. And let's see. Don't tell anybody your PIN number. Block that, block that, block that. How do I? Okay. You never know who's watching, and the internet is completely secure. So it's never a good idea to share your PIN number for anything with anybody. All right, Jedi Guy 101. Yay, it did work. Too bad I can't just point one of those memory eraser flashlights like they have in Men in Black at the screen to just make sure everybody forgot that. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Was 1138 in the sequel trilogy? I seriously doubt it. If it was, I could not find it anywhere. But I do know 1138 was on the back of one of the battle droids in episode 1. That's the only other place I found it, actually. And I don't think 1138 was in the sequel trilogy because, like I said, I think it's only in the George Lucas movies. Exactly. You're exactly right, Jurassic Guard. The alien baby from Men in Black looked like a Nautolan. And for those of you who don't know, a Nautolan is Kit Fisto's species. You know, the green guy who pushed 3PO over and then grinned in episode 2. Kit Fisto, he's a Nautolan. The Men in Black alien looked like him. Hey, Kit Fisto, what have you been up to? Congratulations, it's a squid. All right. I wish I could think of something interesting to talk about. Okay, we're at 15 likes, almost halfway there. And we weren't able to do it last time, but let's see if we can do it this time. Manali, where are you going now? I love that dog, but I don't trust her. I locked up the trash, and the other doors are closed, so she should be okay. Playing the Battlefront 2015. Oh, cool. Nice. Ooh. You're just talking about names for a cooking show. Okay. Yeah, we've looked up a lot of them. Clumsy Cooking, Geek Cooking Show, all that stuff. It's just like, all the good names have already been taken because we're sort of late to the show. And plus, I think I've talked to Jeff about this. Yes, sir. Yes, my honey. Doing a cooking show in a kitchen that does not look camera ready, I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. Now, if the kitchen looks nice or at least passable and it's clean and camera ready, then yes, sure, we can do a cooking show. 11 people watching, 16 thumbs up. Ooh, we're getting a Harkins Classic Movie Night played American Graffiti. Oh yeah, and that reminds me of another place 1138 was. THX 138 was the license plate of one of the cars in American Graffiti. Yeah, we need a better kitchen. Exactly. Clumsy Jedi Cooking Challenge. Challenge denotes like, oh, this is a challenge. We're going to try and go viral by doing something stupid. But I don't know. All right. Poppin' Jedi is asking, what sort of things would you cook? Mostly geeky recipes from cookbooks that reference pop culture, mainly from Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia. My fiance has a Redwell cooking book. I laughed randomly because of the comments. Wilhelm scream. That's a Ben Burt thing, actually. George kept asking, "Why do you keeping it in there?" He's like, "Oh, I like it." So that was that. The Wilhelm scream is a Ben Burt thing. All right. Whoa. Gotta catch up. What I was laughing at was Richard Long was saying cooking show, like on the Star Wars holiday special. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Stir, whip, whip, stir. Darth Croesus, welcome back, buddy. Long time no see. Greetings from the dork side. Cooked calamari. Ugh. You know, on a side note, I tried fried calamari once, and it was the flavor was fine. Since I used to absolutely love shellfish, like shrimp and stuff like that. Oh, and crab. Oh, I loved crab. So good, especially crab salad. Anyway, and cooked calamari was okay. The thing is, the texture was like eating rubber bands. I was kind of like, ugh, that's really chewy. But it was deep fried. It was battered, deep fried, and dipped into marinara sauce, so I couldn't tell. Mon calamari. No. I don't want to. I don't want to do anything calamari out of respect for Admiral Akbar. Even though I do not like the more unsavory, less family-friendly elements of it, I have seen just about all of the Robot Chicken Star Wars clips, and one of them was Mon Mothma and Admiral Akbar in a restaurant, and Mon Mothma ordered the calamari. Whew. Yeah. So, another thing I'd like to try food from, even though it's probably mostly bread and meat based, is I'd like to get a cookbook from. Wow, it's gone. It's Admiral Akbar cereal. You can't repel flavor of that magnitude. I remember they were talking about Admiral Akbar's like fish sticks, and it was the Cantina band say, "They cook so crunchy and tasty," and I don't remember all the words, but except to pass it up would be a big mistakey. And Admiral Akbar goes, "Big mistakey." Oh man. So yeah, lots of Admiral Akbar jokes. At the trap. Okay. T. Tanza, hello. I love that J.J. Abrams had Admiral Akbar's son in The Rise of Skywalker, the good Colonel Akbar. Was that the guy that Poe called Junior? Because I recognized him on Calamarian, but was way younger. So, okay. Richard Long is asking, do you still watch anything on VHS? Not for a long time. I actually sold my entire Star Wars VHS collection from 1995. It worked fine. And also, I think the tape from Star Wars to Jedi was in there. Yeah. And because I can find from Star Wars to Jedi on different spots online, so I don't feel bad about it. But I don't have the physical tape anymore. So, and since I have Star Wars on VHS, the only time I watch anything on VHS is when we dig something out of our ancient collection and stick it into our VHS player, which ironically still works because we have not been able to keep up with the change of technology. We have a massive movie collection, and we can't afford to replace every single tape with a DVD or now a Blu-ray. I've been trying to work that in slowly for my parents, but I can't afford it and they can't afford it. So basically, until the VHS tape player breaks, we're still watching our tapes. So VHS is still a thing, LOL. It is for us who are broke. Original cut of Star Wars. 1995 VHS box set from Star Wars to Jedi. Yes. I've got good memories of that because I remember after the special editions came out, my dad would always give us a choice when we rented Star Wars. We're like, okay, do you want to watch the original or the special edition? And usually when I picked a Star Wars movie, since it was my favorite, I almost always picked Return of the Jedi, and my siblings were like, no, not Return of the Jedi again. And the way I would differentiate between the original and special edition, I would say the one with the Yub Yub song. Because when I was growing up, I loved the Yub Yub song, and I've still got a soft spot for it. But I love both versions of the original trilogy, honestly. Yes, the tapes will also wear down eventually. Magnetic media does degrade. That is very true, Darth. Croesus. 13 people watching, 16 thumbs up. Can we get it to 38 thumbs up? We got time. I could do this all day. No, not all day. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? If not, I may try and dig something out of my brain case to try and ask you guys. Oh, the old Goosebumps VHS. Whoa, that takes me back. My parents would not let me read the Goosebumps books, even though everybody we knew was reading them. They're like, oh, it's creepy. It's evil. Like, basically in our house, creepy equaled evil. So we were not allowed to read Goosebumps books. And honestly, I hated getting scared and I hated like gross out stuff. So I never got it anyway. I never even cracked open a Goosebumps book. So like, yeah, I don't care. Because I don't like scary stuff. All right. Interesting question from Tanza. Oh, you mean the by Jeff saying they gave you the Christian version. Do you mean the ones by Frank Peretti, like The Door in the Dragon's Throat and The Tombs of Anak? Because Frank Peretti, who's a Christian, interesting thriller horror author, he actually wrote a very short series of books for kids that were along the same lines, but it was dealt more with spiritual warfare than like creepy crawly zombies or whatever. And I've read a few of them. Okay. You're not seeing the special editions until the 2004 DVD? Wow. You thought the special editions were improvements. In some instances, I agree. I will say that my least favorite of the special editions is definitely New Hope. Jabba didn't need to be there. And the extra stuff at Mos Eisley, like the getting smashed and the Jawa swinging around, it was just like, we didn't need it. I like the enhanced space battles, I will say. And the blast off to Mos Eisley until the end, I love the special edition of New Hope. Up until they get off Tatooine, I don't like it. But I have no problem with the special editions of Empire or Return of the Jedi. I love all of them equally. Spine chillers? I've never heard of that. I'm glad you enjoyed your shower, GB. Oh my goodness. Okay. Cousins not being allowed The Legend of Zelda? Yeah, honestly, if my parents had really watched some of those things from The Legend of Zelda, I don't think they would have let it in the house, but my brother somehow snuck it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Topic of scary stuff. Oh dear. Okay. I'm sorry you're saddened by that, Jurassic. Poppin' Jedi's asking, what were your favorite shows growing up? Okay. Are you talking about kids' shows or shows that we watched as a family? Because those are completely two different things. Growing up, my favorite, we never had cable. We always had basic TV. So I was stuck with anything that was on the WB, which was what the CW used to be. And CBS and NBC were mostly news, so we didn't watch that until they started putting out stuff on Saturday mornings. But even then, it was like, yeah. So for the most part, we watched public television. Anything on PBS was what we watched as kids, usually before schoolwork in the early morning from like 6 to 8 a.m. And then after school, even though we were homeschooled, from like 3 to 4 p.m. And the morning shows were, the classics, especially for little kids. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, the good Sesame Street. Thank you very much. Oh, dang. Gosh, I'm trying to think of all the other shows on PBS. This is a trip down memory lane. Reading Rainbow, The Puzzle Place. What else? My brother got into watching Arthur and Clifford the Big Red Dog, even though by that time my sister and I were pretty much getting into our tweens and we didn't really like that. In the afternoon, we were too little to watch Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, but we did watch the spinoff that came out in the late 90s, like 1998. Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego? That was the one we watched. It was mostly about It was mostly about history instead of geography. What else? I already mentioned Reading Rainbow. In the afternoons, there was Wishbone. I loved Wishbone, little dog that tells stories, and he's what got me into the classic books. If it wasn't for Wishbone, I never would have picked up the novelizations of any Robert Louis Stevenson stuff, and I love that, especially Treasure Island. So good. What else did we watch in the afternoon? Zoom. The remake of Zoom that came out between 1999 and about 2006. We watched the heck out of that show. Even though by the time it was getting up there, I was like almost an adult, and it's no. So, yeah. Okay, Toasted Tarts is asking, why is this called the last Sunday stream? All right. I already explained previously that quite possibly if the situation in Utah improves with the thing which shall not be named, which has made people sick, oh my gosh, that's sort of funny to find out. I'm sorry, I interrupt with random laughs because I'm still trying to read the comments. We'll answer questions, but I'll get to the one that made me laugh in a minute. There's a chance I'll be going back to church with actual people next week because our state is starting to open up. So far, so good. We haven't had any new, like, the curve has either been flattened or it's actually dropping for us as a state. We haven't been hit as hard as other places, especially in this county. Any of the cases we had have healed quite some time ago. So we are starting to open things back up, and I may be going back to church next week. And this live stream usually happens while I would be in church in another town. So if things are okay next week, I'm sort of waiting it out. If the numbers are okay next week, then I'm going to start going back to church wearing a mask. But yeah, I don't, and live streams are not going to be stopped, that they'll just be rescheduled. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. The comment that made me laugh is actually from Jeff. Quote, Zoom was awesome. Had a huge crush on Zoe. I had a crush on Jared, honestly. I had a big crush on Jared. He had those like bangs. I think my favorite Zoom crew was probably from 2000 or 2001, though. I liked Kaylee, and I don't know why. But it was like Caroline. She stayed on like forever. She never left. Oh my goodness, this is a trip down memory lane. Okay, Jurassic Guard is asking, did you ever read anything related to Earthsea? No, I did not. Oh, Tanza, favorite TV shows? Pinky and the Brain. I didn't ever watch the Pinky and the Brain full show, but we were just barely allowed to watch the Steven Spielberg animated shows on Warner Brothers. My mom couldn't stand it, but she's like, yeah, okay, fine, you can watch it. And we watched Tiny Toon Adventures and The Animaniacs. Those are the shows on Warner Brothers that we watched. And a little bit of Pokemon. Just a very, very little bit of Pokemon back in 1996 or 97. No, wait, we didn't get into it until the later season, so that was 97 or 98. So, yeah, that was, wow, that was a trip down memory lane. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Yeah, Animaniacs. The sequence, I remember the song like it was yesterday. It's bad. And the voice for either Pinky or the Brain always comes to the Salt Lake Comic Convention. They're Pinky and the Brain. Yes, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. They're laboratory mice. Their genes have been spliced. They're Pinky and the Brain, 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 brain. Before each night is done, their plans will be unfurled by the dawning of the sun. They'll take over the world. It's Pinky and the Brain, yes, Pinky and the Brain. Their twilight campaign is easy to explain. To prove their mousy worth, they'll overthrow the earth. They're Pinky and the Brain, 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 brain. Oh, man. Yeah, another thing, there were a lot of catchy songs on that show. The one that will never leave me, I think, is The Nations of the World. I actually memorized that whole thing at one point. It might still be in my brain. What was it? Dun, 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 dun. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, then still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now hold one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq, and Iran, there, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait, and Bahrain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, France, England, Denmark, and Spain. Ugh. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, and Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Kenya, Algeria, Ghana. Holy macaroons! Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Nigeria, Chad and Liberia, Egypt, Benin and Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya and Mali, Sierra Leone and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Myanmar, and Taiwan, Hantan, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan. Oh my gosh! I have not sung that whole thing in a couple of years. I may have missed one line, but oh my gosh, that was entirely from memory. I'm sweating now. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. And that was totally from memory. I didn't even realize I remembered that much. Wow. What's funny is the guy that did the voice, he actually did an updated version with actual countries that are now countries, because back when that was written in the 1990s, there were some countries that didn't even exist yet. So he did an updated version. I'm going to need to learn that one. Ooh. Pardon me. This is, I am roasting because that was exhausting. Oh my gosh. Now backwards? No. The only thing I can do backwards is not something that's truly backwards, and that's Docius expiastic fragicalorupus, which really isn't supercalifragilisticexpialidocious backwards. It was just how Mary Poppins said it backwards. Pardon me. I'll be back. Oh, it's hot. Phew. Okay. All right. It was way too warm. I had to turn on my fan because that was exhausting. Wow. And it was not perfectly in key either. I am not good at singing when I'm that tired. Oh, I need something to drink. I'm like, my voice is dying. No, don't pass out. I don't plan on passing out. I'm going to get something else to drink. Wardrobe change. I just got rid of my sweater. This was underneath my sweater. Because I was just, I had to turn the fan on. It's getting warm up here. I live in the attic, remember? Okay. But yeah, talking about kids' TV shows, that was it. Now, if anybody wants to know the shows that I used to like watching with the family, that's a whole other thing altogether. There were lots of syndicated reruns when I was growing up, mostly Little House on the Prairie and the Beverly Hillbillies. No, GB, you do not wish you lived in an attic. It gets so hot up here in summertime. It's like, hot. Oh my goodness. Tanza, did you ever watch the TV shows Bananas in Pajamas or Dinosaurs? Oh dear. That's embarrassing to admit. Yes, my little brother, when he was about 6 years old, he liked Bananas in Pajamas. The theme is stuck in my head now. Dang it. It was more of an Australian thing, but we watched a few episodes in the US. Bananas in pajamas are coming down the stairs. I'm not going to do any more of that. At least they didn't put me in the cellar. We've got a basement, but it's full of spiders. Dinosaurs. Yeah, my brother was more into that. It's something along those lines. I don't remember, but I do remember Steven Spielberg had a hand in it. Probably because of Jurassic Park. It was weird at times. It was very, very weird. I didn't understand the family dynamics. I guess it was sort of mass comedy to me. They tried to be edgy at times, like maybe a little bit edgy, but I do remember the little baby that went, not the mama, not the mama. So yeah, we saw a little bit of that. Not a lot, though. Everybody watch the dinosaurs. Fifth floor apartment. Ugh, I bet. You make things, huh? I hope it's not a mess. I'm sorry. That was my very sad attempt at being funny. Video-wise. Well, if you know how to do lightsabers, if anybody out there knows how to rotoscope lightsabers into video, that would come in very handy. Okay, Jurassic Guard. All right, I guess you're coming to your own now. Your favorite dinosaur is Parasaurolophus. Favorite prehistoric amphibian is Mastodontosaurus. That's cool. Richard Long, you mentioned the Dinotopia books. Yes, my sister and I were into those for at least 3 years. It was at least 2 or 3 years. They were recommended as a good thing to read by the Highlights for Children magazine, which my brother and sister and I got it was like either every other month, 6 times a year. And it was a subscription that our grandma gave us. And we had that magazine. Oh my gosh, how long did we have that? I think it was from like 1991 or 1992 until about it could have been 1997, but it was years. We had a whole big stack of them before we decided to get rid of them. So yes, we have read the Dinotopia books. Wow. I've seen the miniseries too, and it actually wasn't that bad. The acting and the effects were they were okay, but for a miniseries, it was good. I really liked it. Cool. Yes. Now I got the theme for dinosaurs stuck in my head. Why does it get music gets stuck in my head very easily because I'm somewhat musically inclined, even though I can't read music to save my life. Interesting question on the topic of music. Pop and Jedi is asking, what is your favorite musical? The Sound of Music. The only one we watched when I was growing up was The King and I and My Fair Lady. But The King and I, as I got older, it's kind of sad. Even though I thought Yul Brynner was hysterical, The ending is which is way too sad. Now, The Sound of Music, maybe people say it's way too sweet, it's way too sugary, it's way too mushy, but I love it. Between the gorgeous landscape around Salzburg, Austria, and honestly, I think that one has some of the best acting I've ever seen in a musical, with the exception of parts of Fiddler on the Roof. It's just, and the music that I love the music. Then again, I'm a little bit biased because when I was in a ladies' choir in college, we did a Sound of Music medley with about 3 or 4 songs, including Edelweiss, which I couldn't get through because it always makes me cry. But yeah, another one I really like is certain versions of Annie, not the newer ones, but the older ones. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Okay. Auto rotoscope tool and After Effects. Oh, I want After Effects. My brother had a copy that he was going to send me, but then he became a daddy for the 4th time. So yeah, he's got some other priorities right now. Okay. Anything on Cartoon Network during the late 90s and early 2000s? I know that was popular, but my family never watched that because we never had cable. Well, we had cable for a little while, but by the time we got that, we had cable for maybe 2 years out of my life. And the only things we watched, were things on the History Channel like Bridge Tech or whatever on Modern Marvels. Yeah, we watched Modern Marvels, a little bit of American Pickers, Mythbusters. Mythbusters on Discovery. We watched the heck out of that. We still love that show. But GB, please. Although I am worried that it would crash my laptop because my laptop is so slow. Oh. Well, if you want to send a PM, try my Facebook page because that's the only place at this point I can actually get PMs. If you try and send a link actually on YouTube, it might get blocked. So try and send me a PM on my Facebook page, Clumsy Jedi. Look for Clumsy Jedi on Facebook and link. I don't think I can link to it right now, but the link for my Facebook page is in every single one of the description boxes for any of my videos. So look at that. Scroll down to the description box and look for social media. Whichever one that has Facebook, click on that, and that will take you directly to my Clumsy Jedi Facebook page. From there, you can send me a personal message. So I hope that helps. And I'm losing my voice. Manual breathing. Hello. I think I remember you. 18 likes, 17 people watching. Okay, I think I may go ahead and I'm starting to lose my voice and run out of Gatorade. So, oof. I think once I'm out of Gatorade, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but okay, thank you very much. Oh, yeah, 2 weeks. Okay. I thought I recognized your username. Well, welcome back. Shooey. Ouch. Oof. Oh, there she is. I was looking around for my dog, and I realized something funny about my dog. I have 2 white teddy bears that sometimes sit on my bed, and she often gets herself tangled up in the teddy bears. So I glance over, and all I see is just white fur, and I'm like, where's my dog? Interesting question, Tanza. Oh, yes, I have met Star Wars actors. I have met 2 actors from the films and a voice actor. All of them were extremely nice. In 2018, I met James Arnold Taylor, who's the voice for Obi-Wan Kenobi and Plo Koon in the Clone Wars. I also met Daniel Logan, who played, if I can find a picture of him, where is he? I guess he's not up here. Oh, well, he's in there somewhere. I met Daniel Logan from episode 2. He is, oh my gosh, what a clown. He is so funny. And he was having way too much fun interacting with everybody. He is really nice and really, really funny. And last year, I am embarrassed to admit, I lost it. A good friend of mine gave me the funds so I could get the autograph of either Ian McDiarmid or Hayden Christensen. So, okay, bye, Tony. Thanks for popping in. And I'm like, ooh, Ian McDiarmid would be really fun to meet. And he's come several times now, but I don't know if Hayden Christensen's ever going to come back again. So I figured I thought that I would geek out less with Hayden Christensen. I didn't. I full on fangirled, but not in a super gushy way. I freaked. I got in line and paid for the little 8x10, and I was shaking and I was trying to think of what to say, and I realized, oh no, I don't know what to say. What am I going to say? I'm meeting Hayden Christensen. What the heck am I going to say? And I was afraid he was going to be super tall and super intimidating because, the character of Anakin Skywalker, he's pretty darn intimidating, especially in episode 3. And with those super fast lightsaber moves, I was terrified. I was legitimately terrified. Oh, thank you. Hello to Diego Alonso from Brazil. Oh, yay, some of the international audience. Hello. Thank you very much. Anyway, so meeting Hayden Christensen. I freaked out. I had to drop out of line for a while and let people behind me go ahead of me. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. And everyone was trying so hard because I was scared. I was flat out scared. And everyone's trying to tell me, oh, he's really nice. Don't worry about it. He's so nice. He had no right to be that patient with me. He had literally no right to be that patient with me. He's extremely nice. He is very, very sweet, so understanding and patient. So, yeah, I met Hayden Christensen, and he was a sweetheart. And he wasn't as tall as I expected either. I was afraid of somebody over 6 feet tall, but turns out he's like average height. So, okay. Anyway, literally the polar opposite of Anakin. Literally nothing like Anakin at all. Like the nicest parts of Anakin. So people say, oh, Hayden Christensen's a terrible actor. Meet him in person and say that again. So yeah, all right. Manual Breathing is asking, if you could meet one more actor, who would it be? Oh, that's a no-brainer. Mark Hamill. Luke's been my favorite since I was 7 years old, even though if I geeked out that much with Hayden Christensen, what the heck would I do with Mark Hamill? Luke Skywalker has been my hero since the age of 7. So I am honestly afraid that if I ever met Mark Hamill, I would legitimately faint. Because the idea of I'm terrified of acting. I've told several people that if I ever have the fortune of meeting Mark Hamill, one of 3 things is going to happen, possibly a combination of all 3. I'm either going to stand there with my eyes about that big and not be able to say anything beyond a squeak. Absolutely burst into tears, legitimately start sobbing, or faint, dead away. That is one of 3 things I see happening. Maybe all 3, maybe just squeak and then cry and then faint. I know that sounds really pathetic and fangirly, but I mean, like I said, Luke's been my favorite for like my whole life. So if I ever met him, I think I would definitely I'd freak. I would so freak. The only way I could do that without getting totally freaked out ahead of time would be is if in those videos somebody snuck up behind me and surprised me and I turned around, I'd probably go only like 15 times louder than that. Yes. Yeah, that'd be interesting. We've had several Harry Potter actors show up to FanX in Salt Lake City, so I can imagine that would be pretty neat. I know, not even Luke Skywalker. He also does the voice of the Joker. Yes, he's done lots of voice acting. And he does crazy scarily well. He's really good at acting absolutely certifiably insane, which is somewhat terrifying. But as far as other Star Wars actors I'd like to meet, I think since there's absolutely no way now that it breaks my heart, I wanted so badly to meet Peter Mayhew someday, and I can't. But from anything I've heard, his predecessor, no, the one that came after him, Yuna Suotomo, is just as sweet, just basically a gentle giant, very, very, very nice. He was at a FanX dinner in spring of 2019, and I couldn't go. And I'm like, oh. And the other one I really want to meet is Warwick Davis, because he's been in a lot of things that I really like, not just Star Wars, but also, of course, Willow. He's played like 15 characters in Harry Potter. So it would be awesome to meet Warwick Davis. So that's my short list. Yeah, I think it would have been nice. Oh, you mentioned the Ashley Eckstein actress. She, last time I heard, FanX is still on as long as Utah's numbers stay good. It's still on. It's supposed to be happening in September. The voice actress for Ahsoka Tano, Ashley Eckstein, she is going to be at FanX this year. And I know one of my friends is just freaking out because she's a huge Ahsoka fan, and I think she'd be really fun to meet. Well, somebody else that's showing up to FanX, not Star Wars related, except for the fact he worked for ILM, Adam Savage from Mythbusters. He's going to be there. At least the last I heard, he was going to be there. I'm like, that would be so fun, because I love the way he builds things, and I think he and my dad would actually get along really well. Oh, you want to meet Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Daisy Ridley, and Gina Carano. I'd like to meet some of the new cast of Star Wars too. I've heard they're pretty nice. Hooey. Poor Harrison Ford. Honestly, I think poor Harrison Ford. Honestly, I've actually, I think I've noticed something about some of the original trilogy Star Wars actors after Carrie Fisher passed away. I think a couple of them kind of went off the rails, because I've noticed they've been getting a little bit more on the crazy side. So that's my theory, at least. Yeah, the Carrie Fisher interview is not for kids, but she was absolutely hysterical. And from anything I've heard too, if there was a kid around, she would clean up her language for the kid and be so nice and sweet with the kid. And like, oh, she's somebody I kind of wish I could have met. It would be kind of funny though, because introduce myself. Oh, what's your name, Carrie? Wait a minute. Yeah, she was funny. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, honestly, since she's gone, I feel more sorry for her than anything. So, anyway. Beating John Boyega, yes. Honestly, from anything I've seen in his interactions with fans, John Boyega has been extremely personable. Very easygoing, and, somebody who's going to shake your hand, and yeah, that'd be fun. Actually, he'd probably be on the number one on my list, apart from Yuna Suotomo, from the new actors that I want to meet. I don't know. Yeah, he's a very good actor. Yes. Yeah, he seems very friendly. Anyway, Does anyone else have any more questions? Because I am just about out of Gatorade. Instead of Dr. Pepper this time, it's Gatorade. No, if there's anything that's vulgar/adult, even if it does have Star Wars references, I don't care about it. I tried watching pieces of the Family Guy Star Wars special. I couldn't get through it. It was just too bad. Yuck. Okay, manual breathing. Bye. Thank you for popping in. Okay, new character. Okay, Tanza's asking, do you have any favorite new characters from the sequel trilogy? Finn. I like Finn. Poe used to be my favorite until he changed, which breaks my heart. But Finn. I love Finn. At Maz. Maz was criminally underused. They should have made her the code breaker. They should have had her in Last Jedi so much more. And they should have made her have at least a little bit more of a role rather than just a cameo in The Rise of Skywalker. I love Maz Kanata, and I don't care who knows it. She was so dang underused. People complain about Rose being underused. Maz got disrespected. Use Maz more. Okay, rant over. Rant over. Oh, dear. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about the rant. Maz was one of my favorites from Force Awakens. In Force Awakens, my two favorites were Maz Kanata and Poe. And they turned Poe into just another jock flyboy. Dang it. But yeah, by the end of the Rise of Skywalker, I liked him a little bit better. Finn grew on me, though. I really liked Finn. Michael Hogburn's asking, I wanted to know who all the other Sith were in the Palpatine scenes from Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. Who knows? If he was cloning a bunch of things, maybe it was just an audience of one, if you know what I say. Finn did improve. Yes, Finn did improve. I liked Finn's character arc maybe the most, because I don't know if Rey had a character arc. She started off as this sort of timid young girl who's afraid of these powers that she's discovered, and it goes that way until the very end of Rise of Skywalker. Oh well, I feel honestly, I feel more sorry for Rey than anything. I can't be mad at her. Anyway, yeah. Honestly, I really like the chemistry between Finn and Poe, even though I wouldn't use that word. I love their buddy moments. It's just, I love the fact that they became like instant best friends. I think that's neat. It's just like, and all it took for Han and Luke to become good friends is falling into a garbage masher, looks like. It's funny. That's funny. I like that GB who says, there is this incredible review of Rise of Skywalker that points out that Rey is nobody, then she is somebody, then entombs Anakin's lightsaber in sand, which he hates. That is pretty ironic. I didn't like the fact that she sort of buried the lightsabers. Like, what? Sith have better outfits. Tony's asking, do you want to see an Ezra series? Yeah, I want to see this series where Ahsoka and Sabine go looking for him. That's what I want to see. Mando story arc? Oh my goodness. Okay, Richard Long, that's a very, very good question. Who says, I came close to asking the question on Mother's Day why Uncle Owen and Beru didn't have children, but thought it was too serious a question. There are so many people that have theories about this. My personal theory is that Owen and Beru were unable to have children of their own, and there weren't a lot of kids available to adopt on Tatooine. So I'm guessing. If you look in episode 3, you see how happy Beru was to get, baby Luke. She looks up at Obi-Wan with this just delighted smile on her face. So I honestly think Beru and Owen were not able to have natural children of their own, and so that's why they were extra eager to take on Luke, not just because he's family, but because they couldn't have any kids. And Owen was kind of like, okay, yeah, I guess he's kind of cute. And Owen has always been portrayed in Luke's childhood as very gruff, somewhat overprotective. So I'm thinking, and not just because of his past, but I'm thinking it was because Owen and Beru either were unable to have children or lost the only child that they had. So Luke was the only kid they could raise. That's my theory, at least. And it's shared by a lot of people. Okay. Hera instead of Sabine. Well, you know what? Hera's got a little boy to raise, so she's a mama, and plus she's working with the rebellion to help rebuild the Republic. So she doesn't really have time. All right. Question from T Tenza, and I'm going to be wrapping this up pretty soon because I've been going for like way too long. All right. What did you think of Rey calling herself Rey Skywalker at the end of episode 9? If you ask my absolute honest opinion about Rey calling herself Rey Skywalker, it didn't look like Luke and Leia were upset about it because they were standing there smiling at her, just beaming. But that felt like J.J. Abrams saying Rey has to be a Skywalker, and he's like, okay, fine, she's a Skywalker. That was basically J.J. Abrams sort of like, okay, fine, she's a Skywalker, now leave me alone. That was his way of trying to appease too many people at once. Okay. Whoa, Wretched Hive is upset with the casting for Mandalorian season. You know what? None of those have been officially confirmed. So I would take that with a grain of salt. Make her Skywalker to begin with, because they didn't know that was going to be such a big backlash. That's why it was. JJ wasn't kidding when he was trying to make Rise of Skywalker a course correction. The trouble is, when you try to please everybody at once, you run the risk of pleasing nobody. So, I personally love Rise of Skywalker, not all of it, but the movie as a whole I find very, very enjoyable, and it still makes me cry, but you can't please everybody, and it doesn't pay to try to please everybody. And that was that and being too rushed was the number one problem with The Rise of Skywalker. Anyway. Interesting. I don't mind the idea of a Rey Skywalker, and I don't even mind the idea of her being an adopted Skywalker. Like, if she had been like an adopted daughter of Luke in some small way, I would have loved that, even if she wasn't a Skywalker by birth. Okay, somebody's asking, Darth Crosis, have you been watching the Disney Gallery episodes behind the scenes, The Mandalorian? Yes, it is so good. Ugh. All right, we're not going to talk anymore about the sequel trilogy, okay? It's too polarizing. Excuse me, where'd that come from? But yes, the behind the scenes for The Mandalorian, loved it. I'm going to do a full review of those episodes whenever I get the chance and when it's over. So hang in there for that. And I hope we get a real trailer for season 2 of The Mandalorian soon. Hopefully this summer. Anyway, guys, I am running out of oxygen, and my vocal cords are starting to say, stop talking. So, Chewy. I love Chewy. I need to quit. My voice is just about ready to go away, no matter how much liquid I keep drinking. Yeah, see, there it goes. So I'm going to need to sign off now. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Okay, 22 likes, 16 people watch. Oh, close. So close. Yes. Where Filoni's talking about dual. Yes. Filoni gets Star Wars. If there was anybody who. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Yeah, I need to sign off now. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I am signing off now, and thank you everybody so much for watching. At this point, coming back next week is up in the air. I may be back the week after. I will let you guys know no later than this coming Friday or Saturday, sometime over the weekend. So see you guys then. And I'm definitely coming back tomorrow. As long as my voice and the rest of me behaves, I will be posting a video of reenacting Empire Strikes Back 100% from memory. And now, if I can get the big red dog in here to be a stand-in for Chewbacca, that would be perfect. But if not, I'll figure something out. Maybe just do the voice myself, going. Grrr. Anyway, see you guys Monday, and until then, God bless, and may the Force be with you. Hope everyone has a great rest of the Sunday. Stay safe. Virtual hugs to everybody. Thanks, guys.